video games. Welcome once again to Filthy Casuals, a podcast about video games hosted by three very kind and extremely knowledgeable boys. Thank you for joining us. My name is Tommy Dassolo. With me, as always,
It's Ben Vanel here. Hey, Tommy, how are you?
Good, man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Actually, great. It's a beautiful day today here in Melbourne, isn't it?
We've had a bit of bad weather recently, but today the sun poked its little head out. What'd you do? Did you gallivant around in the sun?
No, I spent all day inside the office at work. I drove here. I've barely been outside, but I've been looking.
I spent most of the day in a windowless IKEA, so really not taking advantage of it at all.
Yeah.
Also, Adam's here.
Yeah, I'm here. I spent most of my day in a brightly lit IKEA. It was pretty nice. Windows everywhere.
Your guys get those meatballs?
I've never been. No, I've been to IKEA. I don't. There's got to be a middle ground between I went to IKEA today and I've never been to IKEA. That's where I lie.
You've never had the meatballs though? Is that what you were about to say?
No, I had them years ago.
Okay.
When I was like a kid, and my mum would take us there and put us in the ball pit.
Right.
And have a walk around. But I don't remember being a fan.
Right.
I love them.
Yeah, I've had them once and I liked them. I've never had them again.
That's enough of a sample set. If
Yes.
something happens once and it's good forever.
That's how I feel.
I like an IKEA trip. I like a midweek IKEA trip.
Oh,
People
yeah.
who complain about it are just they hate it because they have lives where they can only go on weekends when it's just pandemonium in there.
Sure.
Just a Wednesday afternoon, a Wednesday at midday.
Yeah.
I'm just strolling around. It's just me and the other bums in there. Just me and the other degenerates.
Looking around, go like, I've got to buy something that's got a big enough box that I can sleep in it too.
Yeah, it's just me and a lot of other men that look like me.
Sure.
You know.
God. Are you sure
So
you
we're sending out 64 lone shooter warnings.
Yeah,
Need all the cops in the city to come here right now.
the sun
whole
was
bunch
out, trench coat on.
whole bunch of people in a line at the counter just buying one set of cutlery. Just one knife, one fork, one plate.
Yeah, it was a bit like that. I went to, among the other things I was buying on the way out, I wanted to get like a second chopping board for my kitchen.
Right.
And then when I got to scan it, I realized I had taken the display unit, the display which doesn't have a barcode or anything on it. And so I was just like, no, I guess I'm not getting that. And just left it at the checkout.
Can I ask, is
Yep.
the second chopping board a decision made based on size of board or regularity of cleaning of the board?
It's based on size.
Sure.
Right.
Based on size. Cooking things where it's like, you know, needing to chop up a second thing that needs its own board.
Yeah.
Right.
I've already chopped something on that other board. I don't want to have to like wash it in the middle of the whole
Sure, you got
cooking
your
process.
raw chicken, you got your onion.
Exactly.
You don't want to mix the three.
Exactly. That's
fair.
happening more and more where it's like, fuck, I'm having to just use up time
Sure.
giving this a good wash.
Let me
Yeah.
tell you about a little invention called the paper plate. Now, if you're... No, I'm kidding.
Doing chopping an onion on a paper plate.
Just buy 100 paper plates. Like, well, here we go. This makes sense.
Now that's real bachelor living alone hours.
Yes,
That is
truly.
just diabolical.
Why don't you just chop it on the ground?
I went through when I moved into a place about 6 years ago. I
Yes.
bought a stack of paper plates before I really had anything,
Oh.
and I rebought a second stack of 100 paper plates.
Oh my
at
God.
some point, yeah.
Great.
I actually don't mind that in the sense that, like, it's nice to have a little measurement when you get to the end of the stack of paper plates that you bought. You know, you're like, oh, I've had 100 meals.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
I
cool.
guess it's been just over 3 months.
What's your places? You've got a lot of stuff at the moment.
I want a better it's not really big enough to like have groups of people round for dinner.
Yes.
Easily.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't really have enough sort of platey type shit
Yeah.
that I could have.
I mean, I'm really getting into like. I did my little IKEA trip today to get this little this bench that you guys can see.
Yeah.
And,
Small bookshelf
small
thing.
bookshelf, and part of that also was going to Adairs and getting some new towels because I hadn't bought new towels and they were just so
wanna do
ratty
that
and
too.
ripped and everything. And I was
Yeah.
like, God, I'm into this. What a great day. Just replacing things around the house. It's like, this is 33 and you know what? I'm loving it.
Genuinely, the thing I fantasize most about if I was like a infinite money heir, you know what I mean? If you just had
A Bezos
billions of
type.
dollars. If I was a Jeff,
Yes.
if I was sort of a Jeffrey Epstein type, where I had it all and could do anything.
Yeah, it was
but
never
if
going to come back to bite you in the ass.
If I had a whole bunch of money, but unfortunately depression touches us all. Anyway, if I had infinite money, I would just new socks every day. Never wash a sock.
Oh yeah, I love
yeah.
that. I do. There is something
Wow.
nice about like when I've traveled and being like, I either can't be bothered doing laundry or I haven't brought enough like undergarments with me. Just like, you know what? Straight into Uniqlo.
Yeah.
Just stock up.
That's
God,
true.
it's a good feeling.
I deliberately pack light and get new socks.
Yeah, yeah.
At places if I'm going for like a long trip.
I do t-shirts whenever
right.
when I go to Japan, because the Family Mart sells Muji clothes.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And it's like going to a nice, like a not a Target, but yeah, like a nice sort of basics shop.
Yeah.
And I just get like a white t-shirt, go for a hike, sweat. Doesn't matter.
It's great.
I just got it. I'm gonna get a new one tomorrow.
It's the best fit. And then you take them home and you wash them and you have them.
Absolutely,
We're not
yeah.
fucking monsters, but yeah, it's a great feeling.
I set them
ever
on
with-
fire in front of starving children.
The one thing I feel weird about though buying undergarments
Who
when
would
I'm
otherwise eat the shirt?
Yeah, cotton's like a plant, isn't it?
buying like underpants, especially when I travel, I do feel a little bit weird though about getting them from the shop and putting them straight on. I'm sure there's like probably a certain hygienic mindset that would say that you should give them a wash. Like even that towel that I bought today, had a shower before you guys got round here, using the towel fresh out of the shop, and I was like, now this feels something about this feels gross.
I
that it's just been
guess.
sitting in a shopping centre for God knows how long. Who knows who's picked it up and had a look at it and
wiped
you know,
their ass
It's
with
been
it.
through
Put
the
it back.
trucking process and like you know it's been around.
If it's not in a vacuum sealed bag, I guess. Yeah.
Is any? They surely aren't.
I guess towels wouldn't be. Yeah.
No.
Underwear though.
Oh,
Not all of it, I guess. If you
I
get the-
reckon it'd just be in a big crate.
Right.
Surely the type of underwear I buy, at least each individual pair is in an enormous crate.
Right.
I'm
Has to
a-
be shipped directly to my door.
I'm a little older
I'm
than you
lowered into
guys, and just based on where I'm at and what I can see coming, I give this podcast maybe 3 years before none of us like video games anymore, and it's just slowly transitioned into being a full-time linen podcast.
When I make my millions within the next 3 years, I'll be reviewing 7 pairs of socks a week.
Every day.
14
so
socks
So
each
you're
week.
walking barefoot down to Target, buying the socks, paying for them, and then going, oh, thank God, and just sitting down next to the counter and chucking them
You
on.
have this all wrong. I'm a Jeff Bezos type, so I'm not going to fucking Target. I'm going to Kmart or Big W.
Okay,
No,
yeah.
I'm
getting a
getting
drone.
nice socks delivered, and every day I open a new little pair of socks.
That's great. Every day a new delivery. The
Yeah.
postman just
Yes.
like, what is with this guy?
You know how people have like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday socks?
Yes.
I have 1, 2,
Yep.
3, through to about 14,000.
Yeah, it's like the paper plates.
Yeah.
You can then
Yes.
specifically know how many walks you've gone on.
Except I just have stacks of porcelain plates that I smash at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like every day is a great Greek wedding for me.
So it's like at the front of your apartment building, you know, the people that subscribe to like HelloFresh or Menulog or those like
Yeah.
ingredient delivery services, they've got all their food boxes and then next to them, just a giant crate full
Yeah.
of socks.
I've got tires that I'm just like, fuck these tires. I'm done with them.
You're setting them on fire in front of starving children. It's
Exactly.
great.
Beautiful stuff.
Speaking of getting new things,
Yeah.
I got a new PC.
Oh, yeah.
In the past 7 days.
A personal computer,
Yes.
not a public computer.
And not a political correctness. And I'm going to prove that by saying... No, I'm not going to say any slurs.
Yeah, what are you doing on that PC?
It's none of your business.
Okay.
No, I'm playing video games. I'll talk more, I guess, later in the show about which one specifically I've been playing the most. But I'm back in. I'm a PC gamer. I'm loving it.
How are those wrists feeling? You getting the RSI yet?
Nah, I mean, I'm swapping hands. Oh, yeah. For the gaming, sure. No. Like, I mean, I work on a computer.
Sure.
So I'm already I guess I am spending more than 8 hours
That makes
a
you
day
more
now.
likely to.
Yeah. But no, it's fine. It's good. I kind of made sure I got stuff that was pretty ergonomic and stuff. I need a new chair. I got to go to IKEA.
Oh,
I got to
I'm
get a
down.
new desk chair.
I don't know if IKEA's the best place for
That's-
ergonomic chairs.
You're probably right.
Maybe you got to buy a gaming chair. I've been.
I
looking at them
refuse to
recently.
do that.
Yes.
No. There's
No.
one called fucking something. They have a chair made for the heavier set gentleman that's called a
Okay.
Titan. And the idea of like, instead of calling it the, you know, the Mr. Big or whatever the fucking targets of the world call it.
Yes.
Just shit that you would say to insult someone who was fat. Oh, he come through to the big boy section. Here you go, big. So
yeah,
it looks okay as well. There's different shades of them you can get. Some of them are just black and fine.
Yeah, okay. No, like racing stripes or flames.
You don't have to get all the red trim and all
they're
that
not
bullshit.
Dorito branded.
I want you to get a gaming chair so that you can tell me what it's like, and then I can get one.
All right. Okay, I've been convinced.
Yeah.
I just want one that's comfortable to play games in.
They're deliberately made to be in that exact position.
Yeah, okay.
Ergonomically.
Because that's my only issue. I'm getting a bit more of a sore back, actually, if anything. But it's great. I downloaded like 20 games I already owned on Steam.
Yep.
It's I'm editing on it and stuff. I got to it's cool.
What do you have? What's in it?
It's got a i5 8400.
Cool.
I think they're all like 2.9 gigahertz and overclocked to 3.6 or something.
Sure. It's so annoying with this sort of stuff because you look it up and you research it to do this, and then the second you're done, all those numbers jumble up in your head, and you can't remember which is which.
And someone made this for me. I sort of got it commissioned by a friend of the show, actually, who did it for me and did it pretty cheap, which is great.
Cool.
But I got like a 1070 GTX graphics card. I got 16 gig of RAM.
Yep.
I'm on Windows 10. I got a SSD, like I think a 500 gig one.
Yep.
All my games are on that.
Yep.
And then another one with Windows on it. It's like another 250 gig.
Yep.
I think that's basically it.
Cool. I think that sounds like an upper medium type of thing.
Well, I've been playing a bit of Far Cry 5 to test it out.
Yeah.
It's on the max settings, and it's incredible. It's better than the console version. And playing that with a mouse and keyboard, it's fucking awesome.
That's so. At some point during, I guess, like the last generation of consoles, I transitioned from preferring a mouse and keyboard to preferring a controller, especially for shooters.
Yeah,
for whatever reason, it switched in my brain, and I ended up not liking the mouse and keyboard. Are you finding it easy to go back?
Yes.
Damn.
I'm preferring it for shooters. I don't play heaps of shooters.
Yeah.
But just thinking about what it's like to play, what would I have played this year? FPS wise,
like Outer Wilds, I guess, is sort of like Outer Worlds.
Outer Worlds, yeah. Actually, yes, Outer Worlds. Playing that, I wish that was mouse and keyboard.
Right.
Even for like doing dialogue stuff in RPGs, which is the other thing I've been playing.
Right.
But I'm glad to be back.
Fuck. All right, I gotta do this too.
There was a pretty quick turnaround from you being like, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing this," to then photo of your desk with a PC on there.
Yes.
That was like a 3-day turnaround.
Oh, I mean, I was thinking about it for longer than I revealed.
Yeah, it seemed like a very quick. I was impressed because if I'm thinking about doing something like that, it's an 8-month just back and forth.
Well, I think it helped that I put it out into the public and someone contacted me and was like, "I'll handle all of the stuff that you don't have time to."
You had a sock guy.
Yeah.
A sock guy showed up and he said, "Here's your pairs of socks, just put them on."
That's it.
Fuck.
And I paid him, and now I have a sock, and I love it.
I'm going to wait. Because I wonder how... It's impossible to ever know with this shit. And whenever you buy anything... Yeah. Whenever you buy anything like this as well, just the nature of computer shit, it's out of date immediately.
Well, totally.
It's just how it works.
I had to have the perspective of... I haven't had a gaming PC in 7 years.
Yeah.
Or a new one. So anything I get, as long as it's going to last me, a few years of current games, that's all I need. And anything that I'm going in on now is going to seem incredibly fast and amazing.
Do you reckon you'll be default on this for new stuff? Is that your feeling? Because you've been pretty much everything is just PS4 is the first thought.
Yeah. The fact that I can sort of align it with Xbox and Game Pass and stuff like that means probably.
Cool.
Can you play a game on the PC and then you resume that game on the Xbox?
If you
buy cloud saves and stuff?
Digitally, then you can with some of them.
Right.
I think with all the first-party Microsoft ones, that's how it works.
Sure.
If you were to buy fucking Assassin's Creed or something like that, I doubt that would be like that.
Yeah.
Maybe on Game Pass. I'm not sure how that works. I'm assuming if it's on both, then you probably can. But it maybe not.
But at least the ability to play...
Yeah.
Buy it and reinstall it or whatever.
I actually... thinking about it now, I'm willing to bet the third-party stuff wouldn't work that way because the way they've done those ports would probably mean that the save files are different enough that it wouldn't transfer.
Yeah.
But all the first-party stuff, so if you bought like Gears 5 or if you played that on Game Pass, you could transition that between the two.
Yeah.
So you could play it on there, but if you felt like just sitting on the couch and playing it on the Xbox, you could do that.
Yeah.
Which is fucking cool.
Yes, I know.
It's
That's
great.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be tempted by, if you had the option between PC and PS4, the fact that you're playing on a monitor versus the official TV of the podcast. Having that bigger screen.
But you can jam that PC into a TV if you want.
Yes.
Oh, that's true.
Yes.
You're going to jam that PC into a TV?
That's on the cards, yeah.
Right.
If it was like a big game, if you were like, what's coming out? Like Cyberpunk.
Yes, that's the perfect example.
But then maybe that's better with a mouse and keyboard. But then do you know how I fixed that when I plugged my old PC into my TV? Is I just got my fucking table, moved the couch out of the way and set it up in front of the TV. I closed those fucking blinds and it works well.
Yeah.
We are never going to see Ben again when that comes out.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't tried. So, and it's in my bedroom, and my bedroom is the darkest, quietest room in my place.
It's literally kind of underground.
It is. Yeah. It's built into a hill. So, playing stuff in there where I can it's pitch black. I'm close to this, obviously. It is a good experience.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think it's just going to be how much I want to lie on a couch on any given day. Yeah.
Speaking of PlayStation games.
Yeah. Were we? But okay.
For a brief moment.
The word PlayStation was mentioned at some point.
I guess so.
Speaking of people getting obsessive about games.
Right.
Adam, you finished Death Stranding.
Oh, yeah.
You were saying?
Yeah.
What made me think of that specifically was saying that we're going to lose you to Cyberpunk. Because I don't know if we said this on the show, but friend of the show, Angus Truscott, big Kojima fan. Death Stranding came out. Did you guys know this? He took leave specifically from his job.
That's it.
He came down here for my exhibition. He was like, I'm coming down, taking leave for your exhibition. But then I realized, the dates kind of aligned with Death Stranding coming out. I'm like, I think this is just kind of a happy coincidence.
Did he bring the PS4 with him?
No, but he was...
Okay.
But he was... There was discussions about it. He was very tempted.
I just saw him post... Instead of Adidas, ADIDADS, all day I dream about Death Stranding. Just before we started recording, he tweeted that 28 minutes ago now.
Because Pokemon came out while he was down here, and so he was playing a bit of that on the Switch, and he was like, I was like, that's cool. You can. He's like, it's good to be able to play something while I'm down here and this other new release has come out. I'm like, how are you liking it? He's like... It's no Death Stranding. Once I get back to Sydney, it knows it's going on the back burner until I finish my Herculean task.
I did finish it. I think it ended up somewhere around 40 hours odd. I can't remember. I think last week I was saying I thought it was just before the end.
That's my memory.
Right.
Yeah, and I think the ending went for about 8 hours longer than that. It was fucking long as hell.
I did hear that. It's just all cut 4 hours of cutscenes or something.
It fucking goes towards the end. Just a bunch of shit happens. And it goes back and explains sort of literally everything, but also the explanation is ridiculous.
Right.
So it does give you reasons for why stuff happened, but also those reasons are okay.
Right.
Okay.
So I think I love that game.
Right.
But in the way that you love... a kid who you know's done something wrong. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I'm sure Kevin Spacey's mum still loves him. Do you know what I mean?
So it's the Kevin Spacey of video games.
No, it hasn't done anything that wrong. More who's someone who's just fucked up a bit because they're weird?
Hideo Kojima?
Amanda Bynes.
Oh.
Do you know that sort of thing where you're like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not going to compare
I know
it to
what you
any
mean.
more people.
It's objectively, this is kind of dumb and bad and wrong, but still very endearing at the same time.
Yeah, and there's something about it being such an unusually personal, or as in, made by one person, an auteured thing in this medium where that doesn't really happen that much.
Yes.
That is so likable, despite how fucking ridiculous that does make it at points. And then its message that it has at the end and the way that the gameplay ties into that message of togetherness and of accepting, that the only way to, overcome adversity is together and all that sort of stuff. Right. It's pretty simple stuff, but it's done in such a nice similar to how The Last of Us had really tense and difficult gameplay at times, because it had such a tense and difficult story, and those two tied together so nicely, which made that story so much better. This has that same thing, where the gameplay is thought about after the fact of fitting the message and the story and the theme.
Yeah, right.
Or even just alongside it, not after the fact. It just all ties in together.
Yeah, right.
In a way that games very rarely do. Like God of War, for example, has a really great story, and it's about a father coming to terms with the fact that he is responsible for this kid, and that he does love him, and that it's okay to love him,
right?
And that he can be vulnerable in that way,
despite
having this fucked up past,
right? Exactly, yeah.
But then that gameplay,
he kills so many more people.
Yeah. He's just the angry part in the gameplay.
Yes, yeah.
There's nothing tender about the gameplay, whereas the story, that's the point of it. So. It's really so satisfying that all comes together so nicely by the end. I watched a good review of it. There's this YouTube channel I've been watching called Girlfriend Reviews that I hadn't seen before. I'd seen it pop up, but I never watched any. And it's fucking great. It's this woman, I forget any of their names, but she reviews predominantly the experience of backseat watching a game or having it in the house.
Yeah. Right.
So, for example, like the Call of Duty review was like, or like the Breath of the Wild review was like, it's great and it's fun to watch and it's inventive and I can say, hey, do this and it's fun. But also that noise of the map is fucking annoying.
Right.
And if you have that in your house all day, it sucks. Same with Red Dead 2.
She doesn't play games.
She does with some, but not the ones that they're talking about. Like, they're just doing the channel kind of for fun.
Yeah, cool.
Right.
But it's like her boyfriend was playing through Red Dead 2. And she was like, 5 out of 10 because I mainly heard animals dying.
Yeah.
And it also led to him, like, during sex going like, well done, girl. You're all right, girl. That sort of stuff.
Right.
So, and it's got she did a really good review of Death Stranding, saying similar points to these that I think is worth watching if you're as invested.
And she's into it?
Yeah, because it's like really much more succinct versions of stuff that I just said poorly there.
It did strike me, the little bit that I've played of it, of like, oh, this kind of would be fun because it is so cinematic. And it would be a fun one to have someone watching you play and commenting on all the dumb shit that's happening, and then the difficulty of you like moving over the terrain and falling over. It's like there's a lot of like mocking to be done.
Exactly.
Yeah,
not having to deal quite as directly with the frustration of that, which is alleviated. And she had a really good point that I hadn't seen anyone else make as well, that the first few hours of it being that shitty and difficult makes the help from others so much more important and appreciated.
Yeah, right.
And without like, it's there was some really good line in it where it was something along the lines of the Kojima doesn't want you to not have fun. He wants you to help others. He doesn't want to hurt you. He wants you to help others.
Yeah, right.
Or something like that, or others to help you. Watch that fucking review because it's real good. But I loved it. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was way too much of a dedication that it asks out of you for it to be applicable to the majority of people's lives, I would say.
Yeah,
even.
right.
It's a big fucking task to play it. 40 hours is a long time. So I think the fact that it's made with this deliberately off-putting thing, I might have maybe said something similar to this last week, but having completely finished it now, I think it's a really, really great work of art that will not be enjoyable for a huge number of people to play.
Over the weekend, I was at a music festival with another friend of the show, Andrew Levins. He was DJing there. And the
Horny Dad.
Pardon?
Horny
Dad, Andrew Levins.
Yes.
The band...
The fucking father.
The frisky father.
The frisky father.
Yeah, yes.
The band Churches were playing at this music festival, who are, of course, in the soundtrack. I think
Churches.
They made a new song for the soundtrack.
Yeah.
And we didn't
the
watch...
soundtrack, by the way, fucking amazing.
I do really like the music in it.
Yeah.
We didn't watch them play, but we were just laughing about how funny it would be if this started happening at their gigs, just people posted up at the front of their shows, just dressed like Sam Porter Bridges.
Yeah.
Just like they started getting like heavy Death Stranding cosplay at all their shows.
Fuck.
I wonder if they're playing the song.
All their roadies bringing on the speakers like tripping over and hurting themselves.
It starts to rain. Everyone's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. So anyone, if you're out there, if you're planning on seeing the band Churches, get yourself some...
Get a little jumpsuit.
Bunch of great music in that game.
You mentioned a YouTube video, Adam.
Yeah.
Why don't we mention a series of YouTube videos?
Okay. What are they?
They're called Let's Play Until Dawn, and they're by Filthy Casuals, the podcast. Oh, they're these sort of funny, like Aussie games journalists.
Right.
They're like their journalism is quite good. Their comedy is so.
Yeah. Well, and those two things pale in comparison to their very successful modelling careers that all three of them have.
Absolutely. Yeah. And their linen reviews.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're playing, or we did play through Until Dawn. We've released 3 episodes of our Let's Play of that.
Yep.
Comments on YouTube, 100% positive.
That's
Some of them
nice.
extremely positive.
Oh, great.
Yeah, like people saying like this is the best Let's Play I've watched.
Having said that out loud as an invitation for that to change now.
Yeah. Like people who are saying like I found this game kind of boring to play and I'm loving watching this.
Oh, great.
So go to our YouTube channel. There's links to it on all of our socials.
Definitely go watch them because we know the numbers that the podcast gets and the numbers that the videos get, and they're different.
They're certainly different.
Yeah. They're different commitment, I guess,
they
if
are.
you're used to consuming this in a certain way.
And also, it might just not be your thing. It's not necessarily my thing to watch a lot of the time as well, so I get it.
Yeah,
but if they're not your thing, take a punt because we're really proud of them. We think they came out really well.
Yeah.
Some guy commented on Facebook, even with the boys making jokes, I find this game too scary.
No, that's fair enough.
That is a great comment.
Sometimes just the mood, like a tone, is enough for you to feel tense the whole time.
Sure, but it's like the idea of watching something on a screen and then it's one of us being like, imagine having anal with that guy. It's like,
so I'm getting scared editing it.
Yeah.
It's because
that's way funny.
Yeah.
That's very stupid. I'm watching it in like
the fact that there is a timeline
segments.
there showing you exactly when the jump scare will happen.
Well, that's what I have to look at now.
And you've been through it already too.
I know
what's coming.
But it's so manipulative. It's just loud noises.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's all that's scary about it. It's not particularly the mood.
No.
It's just loud noises.
It's dark and things pop out at you. But it was fun to do the playthrough and watch that on YouTube.
Yeah, give it a watch.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Tell you something else, speaking of scary, that I played to completion this week was the GameCube game from 2001, Luigi's Mansion.
Now, you mentioned this twice in my presence off air, and I've held back from saying this.
Yeah.
Why?
The obvious
the unanswerable question when it comes to Nox.
Luigi's Mansion 3
Why
was
did
out.
you do that?
And I wanted to play the first one.
Okay.
And I probably won't play the second one because I heard that was a little longer and not as good. But I looked it up and it's only like 6 hours long.
The second one?
The first one.
Right.
And I had it. And I had the setup where all the shit's plugged into the same thing now.
Makes a bit more sense
so I
now.
just kind of went in and it's still all right.
Right.
I've been working on a thing. I'm going to start posting some reviews at some point. And I'm doing a thing where I'll write 10 points about it.
Okay.
And they'll either be positive or negative. And that gives you a fake score out of 10 at the end.
Right.
So there's 6 positive points and 4 negative about this. So it's
like
a 6
this.
out of 10.
Yeah.
And that is copyrighted. I sent myself a letter that said, good job on the idea, Adam.
Yep.
So that's copyrighted now. But
yeah.
I'm going to start posting reviews of
what were your 4 negative points about it?
So you've got to collect these boos, 50 of them throughout the whole thing, and that is a little bit tedious.
You just
and
have
simple.
to go to a Tommy Dassolo comedy show and you'll get plenty of booze there.
Why did I have to be dragged into that? You could have made it about his comedy.
Nah, sometimes you got to cop it.
The combat stuff, like the catching the ghosts, I put combat in quotes.
Is it the same as the sequel?
Couldn't tell you yet.
No, Tommy?
Do you pull away
Well, I haven't
from...
played the first one, so...
Oh, fuck.
So in this one, you shine your torch on them, their heart shows up, you start the vacuum and point the control stick in the other direction.
Yeah,
and
then
it
you swing
winds their
them back
heart
and forth.
down. And it's weirdly finicky about when it will allow you to put the torch on sometimes.
Oh, right.
And it's also just a little dull.
I think the controls are better in the sequel. By the
Right.
sounds of things, it's still dull. I didn't like that.
It's the same mechanic, but I think they've just tightened up the precision of it.
I wrote for the note, this isn't the full review thing yet, but can be finicky despite not being at all complex. And the final boss in particular is shit.
Right.
Fucking terrible because of the controls and the combat stuff. The other negatives, the ghost puzzles vary in quality, but mainly are a little lame. So the actual things you have to do to get the ghosts in the rooms to reveal themselves are a little bit...
Right.
I've got to look away from it for 10 seconds. Fun. And then the other one is...
If this final point is graphics a bit outdated.
Yeah.
When was this fucking thing made?
They accidentally made Mario green. It's a little straightforward and a little easy to the point of it being a fault.
Right.
It's kind of linear and kind of simple.
Yeah,
That's the one review I remember about it when it first came out, and why people, I think, have responded very well to the sequels. I remember people really liking it, but being like, I think it was a launch title.
It was.
The GameCube.
It was 2001.
People were like, this is a cool idea. It's very new. It's cool to have Luigi in his own game, but over very quickly.
Do you want to hear the positives? I might as well do the positives here, just really quickly.
Yep.
Nice art style, particularly the animations. That's one. It's a clever twist on the horror genre at the time, making it like a Nintendo thing. A short game that explores its ideas and doesn't overstay its welcome, which is
short's a positive as well.
Because it does what it does with what it has in it, and then finishes once that stuff is done.
Yep.
Right.
You know what I mean? And also, short can be a positive sometimes. Right, boys?
Yeah.
You'd have said that to a number of people, right?
Not lately. Not in the past 3 years.
There's a good, thick layer of charm behind everything, which is really nice. All the sound design and the visuals and everything have cute little details that's really nice.
This all applies to the third one as well.
This was my guess as well, that the first and the third would be similar enough that playing the first after the third would make it worse.
That's fair.
The other two positives, impressive technically for the time, particularly the lighting, and it's got a satisfying collection progression thing. Getting all the ghosts feels nice, and moving on to the next room, even though it's pretty obvious where it's going to be and all that sort of stuff, it just feels nice to tick off all those boxes.
Yeah.
That's the little review. I'm going to write up little versions of that, or maybe make them into little videos and start putting that up.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same. Because I'm going to be playing more games now that I have a fourth platform to play on.
What are the other three? Switch, PS4, and Xbox. Yeah, fuck.
Yeah.
Well, I got a Wii. I got all sorts of shit.
What's other news this week? We got some news.
Yeah. Bitch.
Just a quick
first
one.
part of news. Bitch is back.
Yeah, I guess so.
Bitch. It's cool again.
You don't get cancelled for using it.
Just one quick one. There's an update for Mario Maker 2 coming out in a week, I think.
I've completely missed that.
Oh, really? There's the main things are bunch of new enemy types that weren't in it yet, what's his name? Pokey? The little tall cactus guy.
Oh, sure.
A bunch of those classic ones are in it, and one really cool one is the Master Sword from The Legend of Zelda, which transforms you into Link when you're playing the level, but in a way where... Because they had that in Mario Maker 1, but it was just
little 8-bit costumes.
Yeah, they were just cosmetic.
Right.
This gives you Link's moveset. You can use a shield, you can throw bombs, you can use your sword.
Wow.
So you really can make these levels where you're 2D side-scrolling Link and actually having to use his abilities to get through.
Yeah,
it's fucking cool.
So you're making Legend of Zelda 2 levels, basically.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, fuck, that's sick.
It's really fucking cool.
Yeah.
It's because I was just talking to someone the other day about how it's weird that it, I think they had said that they would be adding a bunch of stuff to Mario Maker 2, and then it sold really well and was really popular, and months have gone by without any kind of update on what they were doing, if they were going to do anything, and then just out of the blue this little video went up where it's hey, in a week's time we're adding all this stuff.
Nice.
So that's cool, and hopefully it would be great if they added having a whole bunch of being able to change in the levels into different characters which have different abilities, which is going to completely change the way that you design the level. Would be so sick.
I mean, it changes it into super platformer maker almost.
Yeah, right.
Which would be great because that little extra mode in Link's Awakening with the template dungeon things that you can make was pretty lame in the way that was implemented. If you could just kind of have a Zelda Maker in Mario Maker, that would be enough.
Yeah.
Or even being able to turn into Wario and do his body slam and smash through just all those kinds of little things, all those, So
just making it a separate thing where it's almost Little Big Planet, know, where you can just kind of have free reign.
Yeah.
More so, but with, cool.
So that was cool. Yeah.
The Halo Reach update for the Master Chief Collection is out now. Haven't got into it yet, but it sounds by all accounts that it's well done. It's $10, I think, if you have it, or it's free on Game Pass as well.
Right.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 3.
Yes.
So there was a rumor of the remake being done of that in the style of 2 from earlier this year. And some images went up on the PSN store, apparently, somehow. Someone pulled them out of there, even though it wasn't technically up yet. And there's like some cover art and shit like that.
Yep.
So it really does look as though that's happening relatively soon. If they've got store images finalized, I'm guessing that means not too far away.
Yeah.
Well, we were talking just before the show that the Game Awards is in a week and a half.
Right.
So that's the speculation I've seen, is that it would be announced there.
Yeah, drop a little sneak trailery thing or something.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing that the Game Awards, of which, what's his name? The main dude from that.
Jeff
Keighley is in Death Stranding.
Yes.
And has been good friends with Kojima for years. And they have announced stuff alongside each other all the time. And now they've nominated Death Stranding for Game of the Year. And
I think that's pretty weird.
If that wins, it's pretty okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm Chris Hemsworth and I've nominated Avengers for Best Picture.
Totally.
And I get to decide.
Yeah.
Right.
Or more like I'm Chris Hemsworth and I've nominated Men in Black International.
Yeah.
Deeply divisive. Not even divisive. That was just bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's sort of a weird thing. We'll see if that wins, but I've got a feeling it will. But also, does anyone take the Game Awards to be actually
anything
about
other,
the awards?
Yeah, it's promo. It's a promo thing.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea of thinking about any kind of awards thing having credibility and mattering. Like, you're absolutely right, but it's like, also, who cares?
Every fucking game, if it gets a Game of the Year award from, goodgamesfreeonline.biz, it'll put out a Game of the Year edition later on. Or if we give it to them, they'll ignore it pretty much. No Astrobot Game of the Year edition, I've noticed.
Well, we didn't. We don't. I did. You have to listen to our podcast to actually know. We don't put it out there publicly.
That's a good point.
Maybe
this is public.
Well, that's true. But in print, someone can just Google it.
Sure. Yeah, maybe we should start doing that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Maybe we should just write back of the box quotes instead of reviews.
Oh, let's do that.
Let's manipulatively try and get onto the back of some video game box, just as boxes are becoming irrelevant.
Exactly. That would be great. That would be so good.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
What if we only say me likey about every game as well, and then just whatever game is first to put us? No, let's not do that. Actually,
just we give out a 5 stars.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We give out 5 stars.
A blanket 5 stars to every game that comes out.
And me likey is always the quote.
Yeah, that's all the review says.
You can't use the stars without the quote.
Well, we need to go back to
100% on Metacritic from us.
Yes.
We had we had what we thought was a pretty airtight scale for a little while. We had the lights on or lights off.
Yeah.
Which was, what
thumbs
was that?
Up,
that
thumbs
was,
down.
are you still playing it?
Yeah.
So that's funny because that's all time-based. It's like, you know what? Death Stranding came out 3 weeks ago. The lights are on. I'm still playing it.
Yeah.
So for that to be quoted on a box when it's like pretty specific to just 1 week, like I may have dropped off the week after that, but they're still like, great. They're still playing. They were still playing it on this date. It's going on the box.
For a box to just say lights on as well, I can imagine someone reading that and be like, "Is that a feature or what is that? Does that mean there's a good lighting system in this? It's like Splinter Cell." So yeah, Resident Evil 3 remake coming. I saw a thing as well that Blue Point Games, who made that Shadow of the Colossus remake or remaster or whatever, however you want to define it. There's a big rumor that the thing they're working on is a Demon's Souls redo,
which is the very first Souls.
Yeah, that was the one that's still only PS3 available, and is probably a little rose-tintedly liked a lot now. I think it would probably be a little difficult to go back to after how that genre has evolved. But that seems to be the project they're working on from sort of insidery hints.
Just to go back for a second, how is RE3? Have you played it?
I played the original like 20 years ago now or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Would you be excited about that being true?
Because you liked that
the
2 remake.
Enough, and I'd play it, but it wasn't like amazing. It felt like a kind of weaker style 4 thing, which is like a Gears shit. Like it felt like a lot of other games.
Right.
It was good.
Yeah.
But and I'd be up for them doing this just because if they did this and what was it, like Code Veronica, I guess, then there'd be like sort of modern versions of all of them, which is kind of nice.
Right.
Yep.
But also kind of pointless. And I don't know, if they're going to do it, I guess do it. But it really doesn't bother me either way.
I think it's because the latest one was relatively different, right? Style, gameplay wise, and
to the original,
and to the 2 remake, right?
Which
Biohazard /7 was pretty different to that, wasn't it?
So yes, so
at least
exactly
it's
2
it's giving
and 7 and the 2 remake were all very different types of games.
Sure. So it's giving people a kind of game that in modern graphics and interfaces and stuff that maybe they haven't made in the series for a little bit.
Sure. And I think 3 coming out this soon after 2, if it was the same sort of thing, it would either need to be a pretty extensive remake because the original, to my memory, was quite short. And it was meant to be like a side thing originally.
Right.
And Code Veronica was going to be 3, but they renamed them for some reason. And I remember it being quite short. And it had the Nemesis chasing you thing.
Right.
But then 2 kind of had the remake with that Mr. X thing chasing you.
Yeah.
So it could be fine as like an add-on-y, follow-up-y type thing to the 2 remake.
Yeah.
Whatever. But I don't think it'll be super exciting.
Right.
Is my guess. But all we know about it so far is that it has some cover art.
Yes.
And that it's probably happening.
Yeah.
Well, that it's definitely happening.
Yeah,
They will do, and this has been rumored so much for ages. It was kind of originally rumored almost as DLC for 2, which I think is the makes the most sense. It takes place in Raccoon City as well, but sort of more of the city. But if you just kind of did a 3rd campaign or a 5th campaign, whatever you want to call it, for 2 as the 3 remake, then that could be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Remakes as well, I don't have a great relationship with it anyway. So in the middle is it's a long fucking way of saying I don't care, but that's what it's like.
I think that's a completely reasonable attitude to have to sort of remakes or add-ons to games. Persona 5 Royal, I'm incredibly excited for.
It's fucked. That fucking thing comes out in March, which is like the heaviest most things coming out of next year.
Yeah.
And I am mentally clearing my schedule to fucking go to high school again.
Yeah, new character, same story, we kind of are assuming.
So it's likely that it'll be in the style of Persona 4 Golden,
Right,
hey?
yes.
So yeah, same thing again, but almost like a deleted scenes DVD, the extended director's cut, where it's like, here's this entire actor that we cut out of the film, and they're doing the months that you skip towards the end. That happens in it. There's another palace, all that sort of shit.
Yeah.
Seems cool.
I reinstalled Persona 5 maybe 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah.
Didn't start it again.
Smart.
And yeah, I'm so glad. I'm waiting for March. I'm waiting for Royal, and I'm really excited for it. I'm not cynical about it at all. Like every other remake or remaster or DLC or add-on, it's like, nah, it's going to be my favorite game of next year.
Because this is effectively DLC.
Sure, yeah.
For a new game plus that they are charging the price of a full game for. I should hate it.
Yeah.
And I'm so...
As a product, it's objectionable.
It really is.
Yeah.
And like the idea of 110, 20, whatever hour game having an extended fucking version of it.
Yeah.
So ridiculous.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. I played the original for 100 hours.
Yeah.
And I kind of wished that it kept going.
It's crazy. You know what they should make more of? The Simpsons. It's like, it's an absurd proposition, but fuck, that game's good.
Yeah, just a good game.
A 31st of March, something like that, as a Western release.
Yes.
Got announced, which is good. Or did it get leaked?
No, I think it got announced.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yep.
What's happening with Campo Santo?
Well, not much. So they got bought by Valve a little while ago. They were continuing to work on their game In the Valley of the Gods, which they revealed at an E3 a little while ago.
No wonder it's been hard work to make it, because that sounds like a difficult work environment to make it in the Valley of the Gods.
Yeah.
You'd rather make it in an office. That's what I think. I'm going to collect some booze.
Gods could be helpful. Anyway, I was excited for it. I loved Firewatch. I was going to love that game.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that game probably will never come out now.
Yeah.
What was their line? It was something like, it's been put on hold as the team works on other projects across Valve.
Yes.
But we're free to return to it at some point. There's some bullshit thing.
It's the kind of project that if people wish to return to later at a later date, they can and may. Very vague.
Yeah.
Rough language.
But so what I think the story is that they got asked to work on Half-Life Alyx.
Okay.
Some of them, not all of the developers, but some of them have got invited to that. Apparently within Valve, you sort of pick and choose what projects you want to work on. So some of them were like, yes, I would love to work on the next Half-Life game.
As well as Dota Underlords and other projects.
Well, I think so the Half-Life thing was first,
Right.
and then everyone else in Campo Santo was like, oh, if you guys are gone,
Right.
we can't make this game. So some of them went to Dota, some of them are working on like Steam as an app, some of them are working on other stuff.
To destroy the sequel to Firewatch in order to make the sequel to Half-Life, to me, like... Yeah, Mr. Kid, you burned in the volcano, but there's a good harvest coming this year, so a sacrifice worth making.
Yeah. I mean, if it was Half-Life, a full Half-Life single-player non-VR game, but
I'm willing to bet that's coming, though.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet this VR game is the stepping stone towards that, and maybe that's a naive idiot talking.
That is such a shame, though, to say that, the sacrifice happened for the good of this other franchise, because it's like... They'd probably put a fair bit of time into it. There's such different styles of games. Like, that's the thing about Firewatch. Like, it's kind of such a, unique, kind of fresh thing. And it felt like a small, it had like so much charm and stuff about it. And to just like, for that creative energy to just be absorbed into something that will probably be good, but won't have anything like that kind of flavor about it.
Sure.
If it was being absorbed into like a bigger version of basically the same thing, you could probably even rationalize it a bit more. But it kind of feels like there's no real reason to not have it still happen.
It could be that game was not coming along how they wanted. And they would have canned it anyway, though. Like, that happens all the time.
Yeah, but, then in that case, it's, like, weird to not say that. It's like, hey, you know what, we were struggling with this, and...
Yeah.
If you think you might get back to it maybe with the VR team from Half-Life Alyx after that's done, you know what I mean? Maybe they're going to come back. And so you don't want to say, we've cancelled this game because it was hard, if you might be able to fix it later down the track.
What I assume is that it's maybe what I would have done, is that the people who... took the invitation to work on Half-Life are thinking, if I do this, I'm going to get credits in the bank with Valve to make something that I really want to make in the future with a big budget and with creative control. Like, that's sort of the corporate game you would be playing, I imagine.
And if Valve is kind of getting re-jazzed about Half-Life, maybe that's infectious for people there.
Yeah.
The idea of working on what historically has been this massive franchise.
And innovative and groundbreaking,
very artistically respected at the time, very well reviewed and very, every positive thing you could imagine about working on a game, pretty much.
Yeah.
If you're suddenly in Valve now, those doors open to you and you get to see inside the big fucking Indiana Jones crates, find out all the little things they've been working on. Then fuck your stupid Egypt game. That sounds really appealing.
Yeah,
I don't blame him.
Yeah, I mean, I still wanted to play that game.
We never really knew what it was, though.
Yeah,
it was Firewatch 2.
If it was Firewatch 2 Egypt version, I would have enjoyed that.
Probably wouldn't, so I don't care.
Half-Life sucks.
Half-Life's so good.
Ben, you've been playing, to loop back around to what you were talking about before, the PC.
Yes.
What's been the big thing you've gone in on this week?
I've been playing Solitaire, and boys, it is...
Fuck yeah.
You gotta get into this fucking card game, man.
It is so
Settings
good.
maxed out.
Dude,
yeah.
You can change. Have you gotten the secret code where you can make the backs of the cards look like a castle with bats?
Yeah, bruh.
Dude, that's fucking cool. You up to that level yet?
I got a Hawaii version.
What?
Palm tree, coconuts, the whole
Holy
shebang.
shit. Is that like DLC or something?
Yeah. Dude, like, cool.
That is cool as hell.
No, I've been playing Disco Elysium, a PC-only game.
One of the worst names for a piece of creative media.
It's not a good
name.
No. You know what? I don't even understand how it relates to the game.
Great.
So it used to be called something about the Furies. The something of the Furies.
Dance of the Furies? Mask of the Phantasm?
For the Will of the Fury, or something like that. Something about Furies. It was something like Greek literature reference or something.
That makes sense.
But people kept calling it Furries. Oh. And so they changed the name because of that.
Great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Furies. I think that's like a psychological thing in Greek. It's like spirits in your head or something, I believe.
Think the Furies were like, kind of demons.
That would,
I'm just going to Google Disco Elysium original name so we can be correct about this story. The most important thing to be.
Yes.
How do you think? What do you think of it so far?
No, let's wait.
All right.
We're not helping you out at all. We just went silent.
Yeah.
No truce with the Furies.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So crazy things in your head,
Yeah.
not abiding by them. That kind of makes sense
Absolutely it does.
thematically.
Yes.
If people keep calling that no truce with the
fairies.
fairies, though.
That's sick.
That's
a game I want to play. That sounds awesome.
At some point, at some point you stop calling yourself that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Disco Elysium. It's
Yeah.
an isometric RPG. It's like beautifully drawn. It's like watercolor sort of visuals. Sort of real dirty, set in this sort of fake city that's kind of a shithole. Sort of like got bombed out during a war. You play a private detective, or actually you're a cop, and you wake up. The game starts with you waking up, a classic wake up.
Yeah.
Don't know where you are. You got amnesia. You don't know your name. You don't know what you do. You don't know where you are.
All I had was amnesia, an empty bottle of whiskey, and this character creation screen.
Well, no, you don't create your character.
Oh, really?
It's a set. It's a set. Sort of visually, you can't change that. You don't have a name at the start.
Right.
You do have like a set past. You're a cop, and you wake up, and then these fucking things start talking to you in your head.
The Furies.
The Furies. I think it's the Furies.
They say yiff yiff.
I don't like that you said that. But you wake up, there's a crime, you're a cop, point and click, isometric view, RPG. But there's no combat whatsoever in the game. Mm-hmm. The whole game is dialogue. And it's very well written.
Cool.
So the way it sort of unfolds is you have stats, but each stat is sort of like a mental or psychological thing. So it's like drama or like logic or, just different ways of thinking about or interacting with the world.
So you can destroy feminist interviewer with pure logic.
Yes. Honestly, yes. Or you
create
can
Jordan Peterson in a video.
Or
hey everyone, I mistakenly listened to a lot. That's a good impression. That's
I
amazing.
think that's pretty good. I don't really
I've
know
nailed
him.
it.
I've only heard other impressions of him. I haven't heard him actually speak.
He's sort of like Werner Herzog if you took him up an octave.
yeah, and because he's like Canadian. I
Yeah,
think?
he's definitely not like the German thing that I'm doing. Whatever. Anyway, whenever you think professor, I think like German.
Anyway, you can destroy logic. You can destroy logic with feminism. Or you can create communism, or you can do a bunch of genuine like psychological or philosophical or political things by interacting with the various aspects of your psychology and personality.
Okay.
And so you'll like be walking around talking to people. It's like a very classic point and click detective sort of thing.
Yeah.
You're like this partner. You're trying to like uncover who you were, not in any sort of like, I have to figure out my past, more in like a sort of, I was kind of drunk last night and I don't remember my name and where's my gun gone? And like, it's very kind of funny and silly. But yeah, the way you sort of go through the game is you like get to a choice and like logic will talk to you and be like, maybe you could do this thing. Or
if you've got a high enough logic stat or whatever.
Or not necessarily.
Right.
If you got a really low one, you can try and do it and you'll fail.
Okay.
So like logic will tell you to do this. Drama will tell you like, oh, you can lie. You can pretend to be this other person.
Oh my God, I love drama.
I think that you should be a messy bitch in this situation.
Jordan Peterson destroys feminist interviewer. Jordan Peterson destroys feminist interviewer with pure drama. So, Mr. Peterson, I've heard that you're quite a controversial figure. Not what I've heard.
You should have heard what people have been saying about you, bitch. But yeah, you kind of like, you get these voices in your head, and when you try and do something and succeed, you get some experience or you get like a point up and stuff like that. Everything's like dice rolls, so it's like a Dungeons and Dragons or like a tabletop RPG.
Right.
And it'll give you a percentage chance. So it's like, this kid, he won't give you any information. He's like a real little dickhead. And he keeps like taunting you and swearing. Maybe you could hit him. And like your like shitty part of your brain is like, yeah, give him a smack. It might help. And like the other part will be like, I don't know if that'll actually do anything, but I think you just kind of want to do that because you're frustrated. And it'll all unfold in dialogue
So it's all written as
stuff.
though someone is speaking to you about. That's a cool way of doing that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
to keep the writing engaging and not being too mechanical, especially if you're reading a lot of it. It sounds like
it's an all text game essentially. So it'll come down to that, and you'll be like, And it'll give you sort of like, it'll tell you the percentage. So it's like 8% chance of hitting this kid and getting him to shut up.
Right.
But you're like, well, I have no other dialogue options here that seem to progress this conversation. I don't want to just walk away because I don't know what else to do now.
Yeah.
So either you do walk away and you know, the game continues and there's a bunch of other shit to do.
Yeah.
Or you try and hit him. And if you fail, then it's like maybe the kid never talks to you again because you just made a fool of yourself. Or maybe the kid laughs at you and is endeared towards you for being a dickhead and he tells you the next thing.
Right.
And that happens kind of with everything, every possible way of progressing the story.
And both paths seem equally as interesting to you.
Yes.
Like, because the thing that's often happens with that is if you don't pass the check, the door closes and who gives a shit.
Right.
Like, and it's boring because that content is just blocked off to you now.
And it's not that. It's not. It's a pretty long-ish game, but it's not a big game. It's like a small couple of areas. Mm-hmm. But it's like no. Clearly, this is a room with a dead body in it and a kid. Mm. And if I've just failed that check, clearly the game's going to progress. So I've just got to figure out what the alternative was.
Okay.
It's like, oh, actually, I had to look in that dumpster because in the dumpster is this cup, and the cup I can give to this. So it's a real classic point and click sort of thing, but it's a really big scope.
Yeah.
And every conversation you have in real life or in your own head sort of impacts how that story progresses.
And it's all well written and it's all funny?
It's all very well written. I've seen people, and I tend to agree with this, say this is the best written video game ever.
Wow.
It's more like a really, really good book that you get to like create as it goes. Because while you don't get to create your character at the start, you definitely mold and guide who you are with every single dialogue option you choose.
You give yourself goosebumps. You might say.
Yes. I would say
the horror at Scary Castle.
Reader beware. You're in for a scarily good game.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm only a few hours in, but it is like there's just no combat. Everything about this game has to be progressed through dialogue.
Wow.
And yeah, it's all really, really well written. Beautiful like noir music. The whole style of the thing is fucking great. And it's a detective story, which like, I just have always wanted to play a great detective game, and this is one.
Shit, this sounds right up my fucking alley.
Yeah. And it's kind of what kicked me over the line to get a PC, and I'm glad that I did.
There are console versions of this coming out, though, right? I believe I've seen that somewhere.
I don't know if the release dates have confirmed, but I think there's definitely talk of it coming to console.
Sure. Fuck, that sounds good.
Like, and people, it's a game of the year contender, so I definitely wanted to get it in before the end of the year.
Yeah, right.
Because speaking of that, we're recording our game of the year stuff soon.
Yep. Yeah, fuck.
So
I've been having anxiety about it.
Yeah. Well, it won't be coming out until like I think Boxing Day, or if you live in America, the day after Christmas. Mm-hmm. But we're recording it like this weekend.
Yeah, yes.
Due to schedules.
Yeah.
So
big stress.
Oh boy.
Big stress putting together that list.
Yeah. Sounds like that is maybe one that I'll have to fucking Nier Automata style go back and go like, I fucked up, guys.
Yeah. I mean, it really depends because I don't know if it has that sort of like propulsive like, oh, the next thing and the next thing and the next thing to it. But it's just fun to kind of fuck around in. And it is really like giving me sort of Monkey Island vibes.
Cool.
In sort of how smart and funny and it is, and how smart and funny it makes you feel by solving all the fucking things.
Solving a crime is one of the funniest things you can do.
But it's like, it has that Goose Game thing of like, I can choose to do this, and because I chose it, it's funny. I'm put in a world where it allows me to be kind of funny and silly.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, maybe one of the least well-written games of all time. I've been playing lately, Pokemon Shield.
Yeah.
Just everything about the way that story in quotes moves and hampers your running to where you know you need to go by having your dickhead friend show up. Some fucking scientist who's like, I wonder what the mystery of Dynamaxing is. This hill. It's like, it's the most obvious shit in the world. You're not a scientist, god damn it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm hating every single torturous, slow, tedious piece of that fucking part of that game.
Yeah.
Everything else about it is so charming, like the colors and the designs and everything, that it's just like, why couldn't there be a little bit more thought put into the dialogue other than just like, hey, let's go over here?
I mean,
do you need to move there? The dog will walk there. Follow the dog, and then the dog takes 20 fucking minutes to walk off screen for some reason.
The enemy like group of people being named Team Yell just sums up the whole thing.
Yeah.
Even that is cuter than
yeah.
You know what I mean? And like the people you talk to in the towns who just say one thing where they're like, sometimes I think about cans of drink and I'm like, yum. That's kind of fun.
That's
because
fine.
It's just like, you idiot, why are you standing here telling people that?
Yeah.
And I like that. It's the bits where it pauses, has the camera swing down really slowly as you scroll through this fucking boring shit with all these people
brutal.
who don't seem to have any way of possibly that they could be friends because they don't have anything to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just
rough.
so poorly written.
Yeah.
And not even like for kids type writing. It's dull.
Yeah.
It's fucking bland and plain and shit. But like the Pokemon parts of it are too easy and also boring. And I don't like how in the battle screens, the timing on it changing from just the behind the shoulder thing to one of its sort of, you know how it
More
has the
dynamic
animation
camera
loops
angles,
of, the timing on that is exactly that it kicks in like a split second before you're going to push a button. You make it the way that I'm playing
I know what you
it,
mean. Yeah, sometimes it's just switched angle, but then you've made a selection, and then it's got this really jarring where
it looks like
something
it's
is on
glitched.
screen.
Yes.
Yeah. That really annoys me too.
The timing on it is way off because like it's so fucking easy to make a choice about what you're going to do every turn.
Yeah.
Because all you do ever is choose your most powerful attack and do it again and again.
Yeah.
Because it's the most boring and easy game that has ever been made. And it's for kids, but kids are smart.
Yeah.
And like you don't need to fucking treat them like babies. You can quite quickly give them something more challenging than this, and they will be able to handle it.
Yeah.
And I feel like the older Pokemon games were more challenging like this than this. And not even just because I was a kid as well, but because like the Gold and Silver ones, for example, there was more to it. I still remember them being a bit easy. You still just kind of went through it. But I don't remember them having this fucking dull pace and this slow, boring
I think
fucking
they
build.
probably did. I think it's
Maybe.
I reckon it's the same pace that those games had. But that's the problem. That pace was you know, whatever you were used to it at the time, it was like
games weren't like there were less games.
Yeah.
I remember it happening right at the start, but then as you went through, you were on your own.
Yes.
Like there was a bit
Each
where you have
town
to
you
go
get
see
to-
Professor whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And then you have to go back to your mum and then you go and whatever. But
I think it's a
every
bit of-
single step along the way, there's some new boring fucking thing where there's some cunt on a bridge trying to steal someone's bike.
Yeah.
And then you got to fucking fight these boring people and they're dull. Everything about it is just so fucking basic and boring in a way that I could see being relaxing and chill to people, which I can totally understand if that's, you know, kind of pushing your buttons in a nice way with this. Pushing buttons, not traditionally a good term, but I've misused it. I'm trying to cover that up.
Well, it's a gaming term, and that's what I liked about it.
Sure.
on brand.
Yeah.
But for me, it's just like, it's boring and tedious.
Yeah. It weirdly, like, I played console games for years and years, and then the last console game I played was Pokemon, and then I've gone to a dialogue-heavy point-and-click crime game.
Yeah.
And the comparison, like the contrast, could not be greater. It's for dumb kids.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like it is not good.
It's not well done. Yeah, it's not well done.
It just feels empty and shallow and lazy and all that stuff that it seemed like in the lead up to it. I'm really genuinely trying to come at it with a blank slate because like the open areas are fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Those what are they called?
The wild area.
The wild areas are a fucking scam. Like they are just a circle instead of a line.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
And it's a travesty that people have talked about it like it's some sort of innovation. It is really not.
Yeah.
None of it is. None of the game has any sort of merit beyond being a shadow of the original spark of a good idea that Pokemon had.
Yeah.
And that shadow is still pretty.
Yeah.
You know, it's still
I
a
certainly
good
find
shape.
it like relaxing. I do. It's not something that I rate highly.
The music
It's got more
is
cons
good.
than pros.
I think the music's the worst bit.
Right.
I can't stand. I think the music's really bad.
I liked it at the start. I found it sort of cute or nostalgic or something, but I turned it off after a while.
Yeah. The music's far and away my least favorite bit.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh, and like the Pokemon are cute, and it's having
functionally it works.
When you get a Pokemon in your ball and it goes,
and
locks up. Oh, hell yeah, I caught a Pokemon.
Yeah.
But then you send that fucking thing off to the box and never think about it again.
That's
because
true
the
for
6
most
that
of them,
you've got on you are absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Because the one with the highest level is the one that will win.
Yeah.
So fuck that game in so many ways. And I really do think that it's getting by for people who are enjoying it. And look, I can't put words in other people's mouths, but here we go. I think it's getting by for other people because it does still have that initial good thing that the early Pokemon games had, but they haven't changed that at all.
Yeah.
They haven't progressed that at all. If anything, they've dumbed it down and simplified it, or at the very least, it is dumber and simpler now that I am older by 20 years.
Right.
And so that little that nugget of whatever is good is still there. And if you are satisfied enough by that, then this will be fine for you. And it's relaxing and simple enough that, I get it. But fuck, I really do think it's a bad game.
It's the comparison, and I don't know if this is entirely fair, is Fire Emblem Three Houses. It's a JRPG where you essentially collect.
I think these were ever JRPGs though.
I mean, I think in a very basic blueprint, if you overlapped them, it's very similar. It's turn-based combat.
Yeah,
and it's
kind of,
and it's a shitty tropey story.
Right.
And back in the day, you could compare that to like a Final Fantasy VI and be like, I guess there's something there. Yeah. You basically have a party.
I can see what you mean.
And you have turn-based combat.
Yeah.
But at Fire Emblem, if you line them up, it's like, okay, well, it's like combat with characters or things that you collect and level up.
Sure.
And Pokemon, it's like, well, they don't have personality, but they look fun, and they're kind of like pets, and there's more of them, but everything else about the game is much worse.
I don't even think you need to line it up with a modern thing. You can line it up against Pokemon Red and Blue.
Yeah, sure.
And it is the same exact game. The exact same game.
Yeah.
But they've made all these changes, in quotes, that, if anything, are detrimental to the flow of that original game. And at best are graphical improvements and modernizations in that way that absolutely do not hold up against anything else that's coming out in 2019 of this scale. And they've either made stuff, I really do think they've slowed it down and made it worse and made it more boring. At the very least, it's the same as it was 20 years ago.
I think it's the same. I think seeing that kind of pace play out on a little Game Boy screen, you're probably like, beep, 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 it's slowly moving along. Okay. Probably didn't register in the way that it registers on a, let's say, high-def console, up against other stuff that you're playing.
But even
I think it's the exact same pace. I'm not saying that that's a good thing.
But you didn't have to sit through the fucking sweeping cameras looking at the shitty graphics.
Yeah.
Or like the attacks taking a bit too long because it wants to do its bad animation that it's made for it.
But that's the thing. It would have been a sprite slowly moving across the screen.
I think it would have been a little quicker. I think if you did a speed run, if you timed it. But like...
I think that Pokemon Sword is a great GameCube game that has come out 10 years too late.
Yeah, if this had been the first ever 3D one and it had been, that era.
Yeah.
A lot of the problems with this are that it is so massively behind the curve.
Yeah.
And the other problems are that it isn't in any way intended for a challenge or any level of engagement beyond the sound effects being like dink enough, like having a good enough sound that it feels like something happened, but it fucking didn't. You just hit the same attack again and again and again.
Yeah.
Didn't need to do anything else beyond that.
I don't understand how people are like ravenously addicted to the collecting and trading and all that stuff of this version of the game.
Sure. If you are playing against other people who I'm sure that there's an argument to be made that it is all in there for it to be competitive.
Right.
But to me, that it comes across more like you are breaking the game in the same way as these other people. Or at the very least, just doing this weird side thing they've hidden in there.
Right.
The fact that there is this campaign in there and there is the main part of this game is so easy and so boring that even if there is that other collection stuff that's great, why isn't that in the main part?
Right.
Or why isn't there any need to have 4 attacks with a Pokemon? I feel like I wish I could just zip through these battles because I automatically know, but I know that I'm going to win them because my Pokemon is level 25 and theirs is level 19.
Yeah.
So there's no, even if it's the wrong type, who gives a fuck? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
This game is bad and I will win. And I just want to zip through those fucking battles. So at that point, why am I fucking there?
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
All right, that was point number 1.
Yeah.
All right, we better wrap it up there for another week, folks. Check out the YouTube channel and our Let's Play series at the moment, Until Dawn. There's one of them coming out every week for the next little bit. Get on the Bandcamp and check out our premium episodes. We've got a whole bunch of them. We've also got the Patreon. You can subscribe to the show, support the show, and get a bonus episode every week.
We'll be doing some end of year stuff on the Patreon feed as well.
Yep.
Films and music and shit like that.
Yeah.
We're talking about The Irishman this week.
Oh, yes.
Yep. So
quick, who's an Irish guy? I can pretend we're talking about Conor McGregor.
Yes.
I like him.
filthycasuals.com.au for all that stuff. Thanks very much for listening. We'll see you next time, as we say here at the end of every episode of Filthy Casuals.
Pokemon is bad. I just same thing I've been saying for
ages.
5 stars, me likey.